Hello students, welcome once again to my channel. If you are new here, please like, subscribe and also hit the notification bell to be notified anytime we post a new video. Now we have a question over here, 1 over 5 all to the power x being equal to s plus 6, and therefore we have to find what are the possible values of x in this case. Now if you look at the equation over there, we can basically use an analytical approach in solving all of that. So basically we are going to use an analytical approach in solving all of this. So we have on the left hand side, so when we take the left hand side, which is 1 over 5 to the power x, so let's say y equal to 1 over 5 to the power x, we realize that when we graph this function, we realize that it is a decreasing. So this is a decreasing function, right? In the sense that if y equal to bx, only when so it will decrease when the b values, which is 1 over 5, is between is less than 0 and then also less than 1. So we realize that with the b we have over here is 1 over 5, and 1 over 5 is between 0 and 1, and therefore with that we can consider this as a decreasing function, right? And when so with this we can just give a sketch of that. So realize that if x is equal to 0, y is 1. So if s is 0, y is 1, so we can have it somewhere here. And if s is 1, y is just 1 over 5. So we can see that it will be decreasing somewhere here, so it will move in this direction, right? And therefore this is just 1 over 5 x. So therefore, as we can see from here, on the left hand side it is a decreasing function. Now let's consider on the right hand side. So what about the right hand side? So on the right hand side, if we have y here being equal to, let's say, s plus 6, right? This is an increasing function. So it is an increasing function, and we'll see why this is an increasing function. Why? Because it has a positive slope, right? So basically if you look at the slope here, it has a positive slope, and therefore if you are to sketch something like this, you realize that if s is 0, y is 6, so let's say somewhere here, and then if s is 1, then y is 7, so it's just increasing, right? So realize that it will just be moving kind of in this direction, right? So we have y here being equal to s plus 6 in this direction. So realize on the left hand side we have a decreasing function, on the right hand side we have an increasing function, but then what is the value of x, right? So we have both increasing and decreasing, so we'll consider some conditions to see whether what are the possible values of s, because if you look at the graph, you realize that they are all this is increasing, this is decreasing, so at least the both the increasing and decreasing function will intercept at a single point, right? So we are going to find that single point that both the increasing and decreasing function are intercepting. So using an analytical approach over here, we can consider the first condition. So if, right, if s is greater than 0, right, if s is greater than 0, which means that s will have values like 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then the rest. So when we consider the first function, 1 over 5, right, 1 over 5 to the power x, in this case we realize that 1 over 5 will be getting smaller as we are s is increasing, right? So when we put 1 here, realize that this 1 here will be getting smaller, so we realize that this will be getting smaller, and therefore it will be decreasing, right? So it will be getting smaller, so therefore we can say that 1 over 5 in this case will be less than 1. Why? Because if we put in values of s, you realize that the function here will be decreasing, right? And then we'll consider the second function where it is s plus 4. Well, basically s plus 4 will be greater than 4 in this case, because at the end of the day, if we are able to put 4, 5, and then the rest, then which means that we are starting basically from 4, right? So in this case we have s here, s plus 4 here being greater than 4, and in this case there won't be any solution, so there is no solution. When for both function when s is greater than 0, right? But let's consider the second condition, if s equal to 0. So if s equal to 0, realize that 1 over 5 basically will have no solution. Just straightly it will have no solution. And then with s plus 4 here, we are just going to get also no solution. We are not going to get any solution for both of them. But then what about the last condition, if s is less than 0, right? If s is less than 0, which means that we are considering s values like -1, -2, -3. So if we take the first conditions, right, 1 over 3, 1 over 5 to the power x here, right? These will always get we are always going to get values greater than 1, because if we put -1 here, we are going to get a value greater than 1. So 3, we are going to get 5, and then it will be moving higher than 1. So in this case we are having the whole of this then being greater than 1 in this very case, right? But then what about the second function where we have s plus 4? What will happen? So with s plus 4, we realize that s plus 6, that's the second condition. With s plus 6, you realize that it will also be less than 6, because if we put in -1, then we are going to get 5. Then so in this case these ones will be decreasing, right? So it will be less than 6, because 6 years, right? So that will be the conditions for this one. It will always be less than 6, right? But then so if you consider these two conditions, you realize that our whole functions, which is 1 over 3 or 1 over 3x, and that of the x plus 6 here in this case will be greater than 1, but then it will be less than 6 in this case. So this will be the range of values that the function 1 over 5, the function 1 over 5x and also s over s plus 6 will fall into. So let's check for that. So now if you have 1 over 5 to the power x, right, this will be equal to so when this moves up, we just have 5 minus x in this case. Now this is in the power of 5, so which means that the values so if we have values from 1 to 6, which is basically from 1 to 6 which means that the values from 1 to 6, then we are just going to get our answer here to be 5. Why? Because if we have 5 minus this will be equal to 5 in this case. Right, so it will be equal to 5 because it's in a power of 5. So since we have this, you realize that in this case we have negative, the bases are the same, and therefore we have negative x being equal to 1, and therefore x equal to -1, right? So we have -1 in this case as one of the solutions, right? Then also if s plus 5 equal to 6, then which means that we are going to get 5 minus 6 here, and the s will be equal to -1, right? So therefore we can conclude that s equal to -1 is there. So that will be the only solution in this case. That will be the only solution in this case. So that will be for x in this case. So thank you very much for joining me in this session. If you are new here, please like, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell to be notified anytime we post any videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in another section.